Alright guys, so here we go. I'm finally sharing with you guys a Cookie Alliance team that you guys can try out here. I did finally clear all the way to wave 60 here and reach Master 1, placing me at 470th place right now inside of the Pure Vanilla server. But here we go. Let me show you guys a team real quick, and that is going to be this right here. That's the first team that you're mainly going to use. It's going to be consisted of Werewolf. We do have Purple Yam as well as Black Pearl, BTS, and Cream Unicorn. So going over the toppings real quick is going to be 5 solid almond for Purple Yam. No real cooldown here, just damage resist. Cooldown definitely helps out if you guys have it, but I don't think it's definitely required at all, alright? And the next one is going to be Werewolf. Werewolf 5 solid almond as well. Basically the same thing I'm using for the arena team that I shared with you guys previously. So 5 solid almond, focusing on the damage resist. If you guys have extra attack speed and HP, crit, attack, all of these extra subsets do help. Next one is going to be Black Pearl. Same thing here with the arena team here with the 16.4% cooldown, as well as focusing on damage resist with full Swift Chocolate. So that's going to be my Black Pearl. And then Cream Unicorn 3 of the Juicy Apple Jelly 2 Swift Chocolate. Damage resist is 21%. Cooldown is 12.8%. You guys can go with this, or you guys can actually lower the cooldown if you can't focus on cooldown and focus on damage resist. Damage resist is definitely very important as well. And you can go with, I would say, 5 Juicy Apple Jelly as well if you guys can, just focus a little bit more on the damage resist. Next one is going to be BTS, Full Swift Chocolate, of course. Cooldown is very, very important. No damage resist required. If your cooldowns and your, damage resist are not high enough, right, for Cream Unicorn and BTS, then these three needs to focus a little bit more on their damage resist as well, because you're gonna be lacking a little bit on the heal. In case you don't have a Werewolf with the magic candy, then you can replace Werewolf with Brute, all right? And you can replace, I would say, Black Pearl right now with Eclair, but it is going to be a bit harder to reach all the way to wave 60. I have reached all the way to wave 56 with one team, all right? And that is going to be Werewolf with the Eclair. All right, so you guys can definitely try that team out if you guys, aren't able to make the exact same team. All right, so Brute is a replacement, and Eclair as well as someone like Espresso too if you want to. All right, but here we go. Next one is going to be this. So if you're gonna follow the exact same build, Espresso is gonna be used here. This is going to be basically a wave to kind of clear out one of the bosses, as well as any of the extra mobs that you see. All right, toppings real quick is going to be Financier 5 Swift Chocolate here, and then you just focus on cooldown, damage resist if you guys just same thing as the arena. And then 5 Syrian Raspberry for our Sorbet, 5 Syrian Raspberry for our Sea Fairy, and then 5 Syrian Raspberry for our Espresso, as well as 5 Syrian Raspberry for our Squidding. So Squidding is using the same thing as what I use for the Abyss and the Avatar. And then the rest of them just, I put on some extra Syrian Raspberry that I had. All right, make sure that the magic candy is on Squid Ink if possible. All right, so that you can utilize the skill and do extra damage to the boss. All right, so that's going to be the second team here. And then the third team here is going to be a boss killer, especially going to be used for wave 44, which is going to be Sorbet, as well as wave 56, which is, I believe, the the guy who summons the pawns. All right, I forgot the name of it, but that's basically because those guys are going to deal a ton of damage to your team. You want to do your best to one-shot it, so you're utilizing Captain Caviar as well as Vampire with the slingshot and the magic candy. I have 5 solid almond on my T-Knight, 5 solid almond on my Milk. You can see Milk doesn't even have a maxed out level 12 solid almond here. And then I have 3 Syrian Raspberry, 2 solid almond for my Clotted Cream. The reason why I did this is because Clotted Cream with 5 of the Syrian Raspberry actually allows him to take the candy buff instead of Vampire. So I took out 2 and just added the, the solid almond here. Next one is going to be Swift Chocolate for Captain Caviar. Very important to have at least 17.3% because he does need to have a 3-second start in order to use his skill first, and then followed up right after by Vampire. All right, Vampire is using 5 of the Syrian Raspberry here, maxed out on the attack, crit. No real, cooldown required here. No real damages is required here. Just really focusing on these two. Make sure that you do have, all right, the candy buff on Vampire. Another thing here is if you can get Captain Caviar with attack speed, very, very important as well, because you want the torpedoes to land before Vampire uses his skill. All right, so very important to have this. And the next one is going to be very like a supportive team to allow your team 1 to survive, right? So here we go. It's gonna be Brute here. So if you don't have Brute here, then you could use someone like, I would say, the Werewolf, right? And if you don't have Werewolf, I would say use someone like Red Velvet or any of the other tanks that you can use. Even I would say Camera Oil might work too, all right? So 5 of the Solid Almond here, focusing on damage resist. 5 of the Solid Almond, focusing on damage resist. You can see that they're a little bit lacking. I just put on the leftovers. And then our Macaron is using the same topping as the Living Abyss and the Avatar. All right, so the 24.4% here. And then next one is going to Eclair, same thing as the Arena team with 5 Solid Almond here with the 8% cooldown. All right, and then our Rye is going to be using 5 of the Syrian Raspberry, same thing as the Avatar team. All right, so the treasures are going to be the Feather as well as the Scroll and the Jelly Watch. This is going to be an important team later on to beat wave 55, all right? And the next one is going to be our Summoner slash Dark Cacao team here with the Feather, Scroll, and the Pincushion. So topping here, 5 Syrian Raspberry for our Crunchy Chip. No real damage resist or cooldown. I would say going with the 5 Solid Almond might be a better option, but I ran out of Solid Almond. I don't have any Solid Almond right now, so I'm just going with this. All right, and the next one is going to be our Dark Cacao 5 Solid Almond. As you can see, my damage resist is very, very low. So you can see that I'm starting to run out, right? And then 5 Solid Almond for our Pumpkin Pie. You definitely can get this higher as well. Oyster and Cotton are both using Swift Chocolate as the same guild boss battle teams that I use for the Avatar as well as the Abyss. And so these are going to be the 5 teams that I use personally. So here we go. Let me show you guys the recording. And let me kind of walk you guys through the important parts here. Let's go. All right, guys, so here we go. This is going to be the screen recording that I done right before I started recording the topic settings for the video. So very important for you to have the beacon activated. And then starting from wave 1, you could pretty much just go through the entire wave all the way up to wave 43 using this one team. All right, so team number 1 that we have with Purple Yam, Werewolf, Black Pearl, Cream Unicorn, as well as BTS can be used all the way up to wave 43. Sometimes you guys can actually use it all the way to 47, but in order to minimize the mistakes that can be made with the sorbet at wave 44, I'm going to be using team number 3. So let me skip all the way. All right, fast forward all the way to basically wave 44. So here we go. All right, guys, so here we go. We are at wave 43. All right, so pretty much my team is very healthy right now. No real mistakes being made here. So very important here, right after you guys beat wave 43, all right, get ready to switch your team. Switch to 1-time speed, and then the moment the boss sign comes out, right, switch to the 3rd team, which is going to be that Captain Caviar team, and then one-shot that sorbet before they go flying up into the air, right? Because once that happens, you're gonna take some damage, all right, because sorbet does do a lot of damage. And then once again, that was to minimize the amount of damage that team number 1 will take, because team number 1 needs to stay healthy, all right? So from after that, pretty much you're gonna be going all the way up to wave 47 with team number 1, all right? So you're gonna clear all the way up to wave 47. All right, and then once you reach wave 48, that's when we're going to switch to team number 2. All right, so let's go and watch this. So you can see right there, I am getting ready to switch. All right. So there we go. Getting ready. And once I kill that enemy, I switch right away so that the cooldown starts to set. Right, this is going to be the team to just defeat this boss here. I do lose my sorbets. Actually, not. Yeah, actually, I lose my Seafarer right there. All right, and then after that, I just switch to my team number 1 for wave 49, all the way up to 52 once again. Actually, we actually use it up to 53. All right, so 53, wave 49 through 53 is going to be team number 1. All right, guys, so here we're going to be using the team number 1 here, right? But for some of you guys, if you guys are struggling, all right, with this particular one, I would recommend you guys to switch out to either team number 5 or team number, team number 2 to try and kind of minimize the damage that your tanks are going to take. Usually, Werewolf as well as Purple Yam does do well in surviving just because they have so much self-sustain, the debuff resist, and all of that stuff. But if you can't, then make sure to do that. Team number 5 here is going to be used for wave 54 in order to deal with a lot of these mobs here. Right here, Crunchy Chip does die, alright, because of the 0% damage resist. If you guys can, like I said, using 5 solid almond might be a better option just so that Crunchy Chip does not die here and is able to stay alive for the next waves as well. Alright, but here you go. We're going to be dealing with the wave here with the summoners. Alright, and the next one is going to be wave 54, or actually 55 with the team number 4, right? So I used to do this, or I tried to do this with team number 1. I could not break through that wall fast enough. That's the reason why I went with team number 4 and allowing myself to, take Rye Cookie's attack speed buff. And then here's the important part, guys. So wave 54 is very, very important. It's going to be the same thing as how you guys did with wave 44. All right, but 56, you need to, as soon as the boss sign comes up, you need to get ready to switch to team number 3. All right, so make sure to turn off the 2.5 time speed and then get ready to switch. All right, so as that boss sign comes out, I switch right away. And then I like Caviar and then Vampire use skill and should be able to nearly one-shot it. So if your stats are high enough, you can one-shot it. If not, very low. If that's not the case, right, you guys can restart this stage by exiting out and continuing, all right, in order to get that crit you need. All right, sometimes Vampire does not crit and you might want to go and X out and restart. All right, so I took advantage right there of the last little mob in order to heal my Purple Yam and Werewolf a little bit. All right, and then wave 57 and 58, just keep going with the team number 1. And then wave 59, you can go with team number 1 or you can switch to team number 4. You can switch to team number 5, whichever one is healthier. Just kind of allowing your team to, take a little less damage for team number 1. And then the final boss here is going to be with team number 4 a little bit and then switching out to team number 1. You guys can utilize whoever team you guys have left, really, as long as they do not fully die. All right, so there you guys go, clearing all the way up to the last boss. That's pretty much how I done it. Of course, this is not the answer because there are different teams that you guys can use for the Cookie Alliance, but hopefully this helps out, guys. Good luck with your Alliance runs, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.